Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video in which I'm going to help you learn to solve a Battleships Solitaire simple 6x6 puzzle. These are super fun and addictive, and I highly recommend them as a brilliant way to get your brain engaged before a study session so that you can be as productive and focused as possible. So first of all, a quick explanation of the puzzle itself. As you can see, here we have a 6x6 grid. You can see here at the top a list of the ships that are hidden somewhere within this grid. Our job, therefore, is to find where these ships are and where the empty water is. It's kind of like a version of Minesweeper, essentially. So along the top and along the side of the grid here, you can see these numbers. Now, these numbers indicate how many segments of battleship are hidden within that row or column. So you can see that, for example, somewhere within this row, there are 3 segments of battleship. And somewhere within this column, for example, there are 2 segments of battleship hidden. We don't yet know where, do we? So without further ado, let's get solving. Okay, so rule number 1 is the rest is water. So what do we mean by this? The first thing that I like to do is immediately eliminate any entire rows or columns and fill them in with water if we can. So let's look along the top. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 0. Aha! So we know that within this column there are 0 segments of battleship. So therefore the rest is water. So we'll give each of these a click and turn them into water. Okay, can we do that anywhere else? Let's have a look. 2, 1, 3, 0, 3, 1. Aha, here now. This number here next to this row suggests that there is 1 segment of battleship within this row. So we already have a segment here, so therefore, you guessed it, the rest is water. So let's give them a click, turn them into water. Great, and that's all we can do for this rule right now. So on to the next one. Rule number 2 is surround the boat. Now, no battleships can be adjacent or diagonally touching another battleship. This means that any adjacent or diagonally touching squares around the battleship segments must be water. So therefore, if we have any battleship segments, we can immediately fill in the adjacent and diagonal squares with water. So can we do that anywhere here? Yes, we can. So up on this, yes, we can. Brilliant. So let's look here, this little battleship. So 2 segments already surrounded with water. Fine. Let's do another adjacent one. Pop there. Now also diagonal squares which are touching. So this one is touching, that must be water. And this one is touching here, so that must be water. Very good. So, let's look at this battleship down in the bottom left corner. Adjacent squares. Let's fill that in with water. Now we're going to leave the square for now because you can see that this is probably going to be another segment. We'll come on to that next. So adjacent and diagonally touching squares. So here's a diagonally touching square, so that must be water. Okay, so on to the next rule now. Rule number 3, add the necessary segment or segments. Okay, so let's look at this ship down in the bottom left corner. We can see here that this segment must be joined to another segment of a battleship. We don't yet know for sure whether this battleship is going to be 2 or in fact 3. But we do know from its shape, can you see the curved sort of D shape, that it must be more than 1 because a single battleship looks like a little dot. Yeah. So therefore we can say for 100% certain that this must be a segment of a battleship. So I click twice there. I'll do that again. Once for water, twice for a battleship segment. Right, so as I said, we can't yet say for certain whether this is going to be a 2 or a 3. We can't, because this could be, and then if that was a battleship, then we have too many in the row. So let's blank them out. Okay, so let's now go back to our previous rules and see if we can apply anything. So I would say, yes, we can indeed. We have rule number 1, the rest is water. If we look here, this row says, okay, there's only one segment of battleship here. Haha, we have our one segment, so therefore the rest is water. Let's fill them in. Very nice. Now remember rule number 2, surround the boat. We must surround the adjacent and diagonally touching squares with water. So here we go. Diagonally touching square, we know that must be water. Excellent. Okay, so now let's move on to our next rule, rule number 4, which is the rest is ship. So this is essentially the inverse of rule number 1, which was the rest is water. If we have a row or column which only has a few empty spaces left, then we can check the number above or next to it to see whether we can in fact say that these spaces must be battleship segments. So let's have a look at this row right here. This number 3 here is telling us that there must be 3 segments of battleship within this row. Well, haha, look, there are only 3 empty spaces left, so therefore they must all be battleship segments. Right, now we've done that, let's go back to our previous rules and see if we can apply any of them to empty any more squares out. So rule number 1, the rest is water. Let's start here. You can see this column says there's only one battleship segment in this column. So, haha, we have our one battleship segment here. So therefore, yes, you guessed it, the rest is water. So water, water. Where else can we do that? Let's look at this row here. This number up here, number 3, says there are 3 battleship segments in this column. 1, 2, 3. So therefore, this one must be water, because otherwise if we put a battleship segment here, you'll see what happens. Yeah, that means you've gone over the limit, so let's make this water. Okay, very nice. So we're almost finished now, aren't we? Let's see, which rules can we apply now? We've done the rest is water. Okay, we've done any necessary segments. We've surrounded the boat. So let's use number 4 again, rule number 4, which is the rest is ship. Let's look at this row first. So it says there must be 3 segments of battleship within this row. Let's have a look here. Aha, well we only have 3 left, so therefore, yes, you guessed it, they must all be ship. Okay, now again we go back to our previous rules. So rule number 1 was the rest is water. So what can we do here? This column says there's only one segment of battleship here. There's the segment, so therefore the rest must be water. This column here says there are 2 segments of battleship. 1, 2, so the rest must be water. So what does it mean about this little segment here? Let's apply our rule number 4, which is the rest is ship. So we need, this row needs to have 2 battleship segments in. And that works perfectly with this column, which needs to have 2 battleship segments also. So let's make this a battleship segment. Ta-da! And we've solved the puzzle. Congratulations! Right, so I hope you've enjoyed this video and that now you are equipped with the tools and the rules to start solving these Battleship Solitaire puzzles yourself. Check out my other videos for tips and tricks to help you solve the bigger grids, which steadily increase in difficulty. Look, along the top you can see we have 6x6 all the way up to 15x15 grids, which is very exciting. Let me know your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. Give this video a quick thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel so that you never miss out on any content. Keep puzzling!